Importation and exportation management is a set of basic principles that should be followed to ensure the quality, safety, and security of imported and exported materials and products. Organizations involved in the importation and exportation of materials or products must have controls in place to mitigate the likelihood that the material or product quality, safety, or security is compromised. International procurement and sale of materials or products is discussed in Quality Management System 1083.1. International donations for health programs should also follow these basic principles. Organizations dealing with importation or exportation of materials and products should have the appropriate licensing and authorizations and knowledge of the country's custom policies and procedures and international conventions. A risk assessment should take into account the material or product, supply chain partners and their licensing, authorizations, and certifications such as International Standards Organization (ISO) and U.S. Customs Trade Partnership Against Terrorism (CTPAT). Modes of transportation, mode of ownership, transportation routes and country-specific regulations, business partners involved, and mapping a product's cargo movement throughout the supply chain. Quality and security threat audits should be performed to identify potential gaps and to develop an action plan to address them. Delays in port clearance can lead to deterioration in material or product quality. Written procedures for importation and exportation should cover all processes, but especially responsibilities, communication between the supply chain partners and within an organization, operations, order, pro forma or invoice issue, important customs clearance, storage and transportation, origin, authentication, and quality control of imported materials and products, identifying forbidden, restricted, controlled, or hazardous materials and products, traceability and security of material and product, and applicable documentation, forms, and records, such as certifications, batch record, and certificate of analysis, manifest, that is a collection of documents such as the cargo declaration and annotated bills of lading that list and describes the cargo contents, airway bill, that is a shipping document used for the transportation of air freight that includes conditions, limitations of liability, and shipping instructions, and bill of lading, that is a documentation that establishes the term of contract between a shipper and a transportation company. It serves as a contract of carriage and a receipt for product. Importing or exporting organizations should have adequate knowledge of the material or product, including its identification and characteristics, its source, intended use, storage conditions, potential hazards of the product, risk relating to the likelihood of cargo theft and pilferage, abuse, counterfeiting, tampering, and adulteration and diversion. Contractual agreements have to be in place to ensure quality, safety, and security of the materials and products. Importation and exportation in the international procurement and sales of materials and products involve supplier, customer, freight forwarders and carriers, and customs. The basic steps for importation and exportation could be summarized as business requirements, financial requirements, and the flow of information, material or product holding and transportation, and customs clearance and duties and port authorities charge. Organizations should develop a list of approved and not approved suppliers, service providers, and customers. Their performance should be measured and assessed on an ongoing basis. Responsibilities and contractual terms between the freight forwarder, carrier, supplier, and customer have to be clear how to handle the inland freight, temporary storage, and overseas shipment, import-export documentation, customs clearance arrangements, and cargo insurance. Re-exportation should not happen, and the organization should require a warranty against this. Example, statement of non-re-export of product. Any computer system should be validated. Procedures should be in place to identify suspicious orders, including contact information different from that filed with the authorities, unusual instructions for payment or delivery, unusually large amounts of controlled substances, and other similar situations.